This is the 8th case presentation in the series of cassette clinics in obstetrics and gynecology prepared by Dr. Mrs. Swati Vaidya of Karnataka Health Institute, Ghataprabha. A case of bleeding in early pregnancy. A 22-year-old female patient, Anusuya Chaugule, a housewife from Kalloli, was admitted in this hospital on 23rd April 2009. She came with history of 4 months amenorrhea, complaining of pain in abdomen and PV bleeding since 1 day. Yes, what are the causes of PV bleeding in early pregnancy? Abortion, hydatidiform mole and ectopic pregnancy, and other causes not related to pregnancy like cervical erosion or carcinoma of cervix. The patient initially had spotting and then the bleeding increased in quantity and is bright red in color. No history of passing vesicles. What does fresh red color indicate? It indicates that there is active bleeding. In cases of missed abortion, bleeding is of altered color. Menstrual history, menarche at 13 years, regularly menstruating with 3 to 4 days flow every 30 days, LMP on 4th January 2009, obstetric history, married 4 years back, G2, P1, L1, A0. G1 was a full-term normal hospital delivery, 2 years old living male child. G2 is the present pregnancy. There is no past history of diabetes, hypertension or tuberculosis. There is no history of significant major illness in the family. Personal history, sleep and appetite are normal. Bowel bladder habits are normal. On general examination, averagely built, averagely nourished. Height is 152 centimeters. Weight is 46 kgs. Pulse is 90 per minute, regular, good volume. Blood pressure is 110 by 70 millimeters of mercury. There is mild pallor, no edema. Heart sounds are normal, no murmur. Respiratory system is normal. On inspection of the abdomen, striae albicans and linea nigra are seen. Uterus is just palpable at the symphysis pubis. There is mild tenderness in the hypogastrium, no guarding or rigidity. What is your diagnosis? Sir, this is a case of second gravida with 4 months amenorrhea with PV bleeding, probably due to inevitable abortion. Why not hydatidiform mole? Sir, hydatidiform mole is less likely because there is no history of passing vesicles and the height of the uterus corresponds to the period of gestation. However, the diagnosis will have to be confirmed by investigations. So, what is your differential diagnosis? Inevitable abortion, threatened abortion, missed abortion and vesicular mole. How will you confirm your diagnosis? First, I will do per speculum and per vaginal examination. In case of threatened abortion, there is minimal bleeding, the cervical os is closed and the size of the uterus corresponds to the size of gestation. In case of inevitable abortion, there is active fresh bleeding with open cervical os. And in case of missed abortion, the blood is altered in color and blackish, uterus is smaller than the period of gestation, and the signs of pregnancy will be regressed, that is, breast secretion and congestion of genitals will be reduced. What are the clinical findings in a vesicular mole? The patient generally presents with hyperemesis gravidarum and recurrent PV bleeding. There may be history of passing vesicles with the blood. On examination, the patient is pale. She may have hypertension due to early development of PIH. The uterus is larger than the period of gestation with a doughy consistency. External ballotment is absent and no fetal parts are felt. And fetal heart sounds are not heard. Yes, what investigations will you do in this patient? I will first investigate her blood for hemoglobin, blood group Rh, VDRL and HIV and test her urine for albumin and sugar. Then I will do ultrasonography to confirm the diagnosis. What findings do you expect on ultrasonography? In case of inevitable abortion, the cervical os is seen open and there may be other evidences like placental separation or intrauterine death of the fetus. In case of incomplete abortion, the gestational sac is absent, uterus is bulky and contains a few products of conception. In case of vesicular mole, there is snowstorm appearance due to multiple small sonolucent vesicles, and in 25% of cases, luteal cysts of ovaries will be seen. Which other investigations do you do for diagnosis of a vesicular mole? Sir, urinary pregnancy test is positive in very high dilutions of 1:300 or more, and quantitative HCG assays show very high and rising values. Then if fundus is larger than 16 weeks, X-ray examination will show absence of fetal shadow, and amniography will show soap bubble or honeycomb appearance. So now, how will you treat this case? Since clinically this is a case of inevitable abortion, I will confirm the diagnosis by ultrasonography and then do dilatation and evacuation under general anesthesia. How will you treat a case of threatened abortion? Sir, I will hospitalize the patient, give her strict bed rest, tranquilizers to relieve the anxiety, then uterine relaxants like isoxsuprine and progesterone in cases of progesterone deficiency. But how will you know whether the patient has progesterone deficiency? By Papanicolaou staining of the vaginal cytology to detect progesterone effect, or by progesterone assay if available. Which progesterone will you prefer to give in a pregnant woman? 17-alpha hydroxyprogesterone. Why? Because it is a pure progesterone devoid of testosterone-like side effects. The other progesterones will cause virilization of the external genitalia in a female fetus, so they should not be given. How will you treat a case of incomplete abortion? First, depending upon the blood loss and general condition, I will resuscitate the patient with IV fluids and blood transfusion if necessary, and then I will do dilatation of cervix and evacuation under general anesthesia. And how will you treat a vesicular mole? Once a vesicular mole is diagnosed, it should be evacuated immediately. If the cervix is undilated, it is dilated by laminaria tents or by local application of prostaglandin PGE2 gel. After the cervix is dilated, evacuation is carried out by suction curette. Syntocinon drip and intravenous ergometrin are given to contract the uterus. Evacuation with ovum holding forceps will cause excessive bleeding and hence it is avoided. Over? Yes, sir. Will you not send this specimen for histopathology? Yes, sir. I will send the last curated material from the walls of the uterus for histopathology. Why? Because the first evacuated portion of the mole is necrotic, while the peripheral villi are in active process of development. So this specimen of the peripheral villi should be studied histopathologically to diagnose whether the mole is benign or malignant. Okay. How will a patient of ectopic pregnancy present? Patient usually has a history of infertility or history of pelvic inflammation or tubal surgery. If the ectopic pregnancy is unruptured, then the patient presents with amenorrhea, pain in abdomen and recurrent PV bleeding. On transvaginal sonography, there is a decidual reaction in the uterus, absence of intrauterine pregnancy, adnexal mass clearly separate from the ovary which may show a sac and a fetus, and fluid in the pouch of Douglas. Why does the patient get pain in unruptured ectopic pregnancy? Because commonly it is a tubal pregnancy, and the tube being a hollow muscular organ, it contracts in attempt to expel the pregnancy, resulting in colicky pain. And what is the cause for recurrent bleeding? In an ectopic pregnancy, progesterone is not produced in sufficient quantity to support the endometrium. Hence, there is recurrent bleeding. How will the patient present? A patient with history of amenorrhea gets sudden severe agonizing pain in the lower abdomen. Some patients may have a feeling of something giving away in the lower abdomen. The patient will be in shock due to intraperitoneal hemorrhage with tachycardia, low blood pressure, cold extremities, sweating, and severe pallor. There is severe tenderness and guarding over the lower abdomen. How will you confirm the diagnosis? By ultrasonography and colpopuncture. Ultrasonography shows fluid or blood clots in the peritoneal cavity and decidual reaction in the uterus. Sometimes the gestational sac may be seen outside the uterus. Colpopuncture shows frank blood in the peritoneal cavity which does not clot. Why does this blood not clot? Because it is blood which is already clotted and then liquefied by fibrinolytic activity and contains FDP or fibrinogen degradation products. How will you treat such a patient? Sir, I will first resuscitate the patient from shock, give blood transfusions and do a emergency laparotomy to remove the ectopic sac. Once the bleeding stops, the patient will recover quickly. If blood is not available, then what will you do? I will infuse colloids like Himaxil, and if the rupture is recent, I will give auto blood transfusion. How is auto transfusion given? The blood in the peritoneal cavity is carefully collected in a sterile bowl and under aseptic precautions, it is filtered through 6 layers of gauze and collected into a acid citrate dextrose bottle and then transfused. Now, what is an ectopic pregnancy? Ectopic pregnancy means implantation of a fertilized ovum over a site other than the uterine cavity. So it can be a tubal pregnancy, ovarian pregnancy, primary abdominal pregnancy, pregnancy in a rudimentary horn of uterus, or cervical pregnancy. Which is the commonest site for ectopic pregnancy? Tubal pregnancy, which comprises about 95% of the cases, out of which ampullary pregnancy is most common. What is the etiology of tubal pregnancy? Chronic pelvic inflammation giving rise to peritubal adhesions and tubal blockage is the commonest cause. Other causes are previous tubal surgeries like recanalization, congenital hypoplasia of the tube, pelvic tumors distorting the tube, or previous history of ectopic pregnancy. Can you tell me the etiology of abortion? A faulty ovum or defective germoplasm and chromosomal defects. Then maternal diseases like hyperpyrexia, diabetes mellitus, chronic nephritis, syphilis or ascending infections. Maternal trauma like direct physical trauma or psychological trauma or abdominal surgery and anesthesia. Then hormonal deficiency like progesterone deficiency and local diseases like uterine anomalies, fibroid uterus or cervical incompetence. Any external factors? Environmental pollutants, cigarette smoking, alcohol, ionizing radiation, and drugs like inhaled anesthetics can induce spontaneous abortion. What is recurrent pregnancy loss? Occurrence of 3 or more consecutive and spontaneous abortions prior to 20th week of gestation is termed as recurrent pregnancy loss. It may be primary or secondary. If the patient has not had a full-term pregnancy before, then it is termed as a primary recurrent pregnancy loss. What are the different types of abortion? Abortion may be spontaneous or induced. Spontaneous abortion may be threatened, inevitable, incomplete, missed or habitual abortion. And induced abortion may be a medical termination of pregnancy or criminal abortion. Then any abortion complicated with uterine sepsis is termed as septic abortion. What is the commonest cause of habitual abortion or recurrent pregnancy loss? Cervical incompetence. How will the patient present? Patient will present with history of recurrent, painless mid-trimester abortions. First, there is rupture of membranes followed by a painless expulsion of the products of conception. Inspection of the cervix through speculum or by ultrasonography will detect dilatation of the internal os with herniation of the membranes, which is diagnostic. What is the etiology of cervical incompetence? It may be a congenital weakness or it may be acquired due to repeated dilatation of cervix, cervical high amputation or cervical prolapse. How will you treat such a case? I will first rule out fetal anomalies by ultrasonography and then at 14 to 16 weeks of gestation, I will perform McDonald or Shirodkar's cervical encerclage procedure. Which method will you prefer? Sir, McDonald procedure, because it is a simple method of taking a purse string stitch at the level of internal os externally. In Shirodkar's method, the bladder is dissected anteriorly and a submucosal stitch is taken at the level of internal os. It involves more dissection but protects the bladder from constriction. Postoperatively, I will prescribe progesterone supplements and advise bed rest till term. Yes. Now coming back to the hydatidiform mole, what are the etiological factors for a hydatidiform mole? Age above 40 years, high parity, blood groups A or AB if the husband's group is O, then it is more common in rice eaters, low socio-economic classes and poor nutrition. Also, there is a striking geographical difference. The incidence is very low, 1 in 2000 in North America and Europe, while it is very high, 1 in 200 in Malaysia, China and Southeast Asia. How does a vesicular mole develop? The fetus dies inside the uterus and the chorionic villi become avascular. But the placental blood supply continues, so the villi are overloaded with food and nutrition, which causes proliferation of the trophoblast. How will you follow up a patient of vesicular mole? A repeat curettage is done after 7 days to check the trophoblastic activity. Initially, the patient is followed monthly for 3 months and then 6 monthly for 2 years. And the patient is advised not to become pregnant for 2 years after a vesicular mole. What investigations will you do in the follow-up? I will examine her to watch the size of the uterus and do ultrasonography to study the endometrium. I will ask for quantitative pregnancy test to know the trophoblastic activity, and in high-risk patients I will take X-ray of the chest to look for metastasis. What are the risk factors for a malignant change in vesicular mole? The high-risk factors for development of choriocarcinoma in a case of vesicular mole are age above 40 years, high parity, complete mole, ovarian enlargement more than 6 cm with theca lutein cyst, and a high titer of HCG more than 1 lakh milli-international units per ml. How will you treat a high-risk patient? Prophylactic methotrexate should be given in the dose of 15 mg per day for 5 days, and the patient should be regularly followed. And if it is an invasive mole on histopathology, and if the patient's age is more than 40 years, abdominal hysterectomy is advisable. Why does a hydatidiform mole occur? Hydatidiform mole occurs due to transformation of chorionic villi into a mass of translucent vesicles. The exact cause is not known, but it is associated with chromosomal abnormalities like triploidy in partial moles and dual set of paternal genes in complete moles. Normally, the trophoblastic activity is controlled by mother's immune mechanism. This control may be lost due to altered immune reaction or due to malnutrition and debility. Yes, how does a hydatidiform mole look? On gross examination, the uterus is filled with a large number of translucent vesicles of varying sizes. On histopathological examination, there is trophoblastic proliferation, hydropic generation of connective tissue, and avascularity of villi. What are the complications of hydatidiform mole? Sir, hemorrhage, infection, perforation, metastasis, and choriocarcinoma. Good. Thank you, sir. This is the end of the 8th clinic in obstetrics and gynecology on early pregnancy with bleeding.